Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lorraine Taylor, and if you'd like to see here, I created this dewy face look with a bold red lip. Then keep on watching. So I went ahead and did my eyebrows off camera, and I did one eye. I decided to do something brown and neutral since I never really do like brown looks on my channel. They're always pretty colorful. So I decided to tone things down a bit and give y'all this brown eye. I'm gonna show you how to do this eye. I'm gonna prime my eyelid with the Milani concealer. This one's in the shade 145. The first palette we'll be using is the Jackie Aina palette. We're gonna go into the shade Edges on a fluffy brush and pack that into the crease. Now this trick I learned from watching Nikki tutorials is that she blends her transition shade going upwards, and we're gonna try that. I used it on the other eye and it worked pretty good. So I'm holding my brush upwards and I'm just going back and forth with the brush. And it works. Now we're gonna go into the shade Credit. To start deepening up the outer crease, we're gonna take this fluffy eye brush from e.l.f. and that's gonna go right in the outer to start getting a little bit of dimension to the eye. To blend it out a little bit better, I'm gonna use the brush that came with the palette. I'm gonna use the fluffy flat inside just to blend it out. For the under the brow eye highlight, what shade did I use? Under the brow highlight, we're gonna go into the Jaclyn Hill palette, and that's gonna go right under the brow. Cut the crease, of course. Gonna go back in with my Milani concealer. And we're going to look all the way up. Like so. I'm going back into the Jaclyn palette. We're gonna take this light shade. This is Silk Cream on a flat brush. And we're going to pack that right on top. Now, since I don't want this look or the cut crease to be super harsh, I'm gonna go back in and blend out the edge. to go back into the outer crease, I'm gonna take this dark brown shade. This is Chip on that Anastasia brush again. And that's gonna go right in here to blend out the line in the concealer. And here we have the eye look. For now, I'm gonna of course prime my face with my e.l.f. primer. This is the Poreless Face Primer. And I'm gonna let this soak into my skin a little bit before I go in and powder it. The primer has soaked into my skin. I'm gonna use my Maybelline powder. This is in the shade Medium Deep. This is their loose powder. And I'm gonna take this powder brush, little powder brush I got from Walmart. This is by Real Techniques. And I'm gonna powder like around my nose and my chin and my forehead. Because this is where I get the most oily. Especially in the creases between the cheek and the nostril. I feel like that's where a lot of people get oily. And that's where I focus most of the powder. Now, I'm not really into like the highlighted look. I like the glowy look. It is two different things. So before we put on foundation, I'm going to illuminate my skin. This one is by L'Oreal Paris. This is their True Match Lumi Liquid Glow Illuminator. This is in the shade Golden Rose. Before I go in with it, I'm gonna spray my face. This is my Wet n Wild Photo Focus 3-in-1 primer water. This one's in Cucumber. And I'm going to drop my illuminator on my flat top brush. This brush is by Wet n Wild. This is probably too much, but that's how much we're gonna need. It fell on my shirt. Trials and tribulations. Before foundation, I'm going to correct under my eyes. This is my LA Girl Pro Concealer in orange. My concealer brush, or corrector brush. Not taking it all the way up to my lash line because it's not necessary. And for foundation today, I guess I'll use my Fenty Beauty one. I'm in the shade 420. And I'm gonna pump that onto my beauty blender. I'm gonna do 2 pumps. And for concealer, I'm gonna take my other Milani concealer. This one is in the shade 165. I'm gonna put this one like on the perimeter of my eye. And then the one we used for our eyes in 145, we're gonna put that closer to the eye. I'm gonna use the same one for forehead, nose, and chin. to blend it into the foundation. Now to set under the eyes, I'm gonna go back in with my Maybelline powder. This powder works really good if you were wondering. If it was a little bit more golden, I'd use it everywhere else, but it's pretty, I would say it's a little translucent on like dark skin. But I like the rest of my face to have a little bit more of like a golden complexion to it. So for the other parts to highlight, I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder. This one's in the shade Honey. Perimeter of the outer eye, I like to use it. And I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is in the shade Coconut. And I'm gonna use it on a fluffy brush and set the rest of my face. Also, dust away the setting powder. Now for bronzer, this is a bronzer that I kind of just made. I used, what shade is this? I did use the powder that was in this. This was in the shade Black Coffee. And I used one of their baked blushes in Toasted Almond. And I also used, the orange and the red shade from the James Charles palette to give it the Sunkissed color to it, and it gave me a really good result. Like, I just made like a bomb bronzer. Because they don't sell bronzers deep enough for me in Walmart, because that's where I always go to buy my makeup, is Walmart. And I'm always looking for a bronzer and they just don't have one that would suit my color. So I took matters into my own hands and I got a pretty good color, I believe. Now for a little bit of contour, I'm gonna go into my Black Radiance True Complexions contour palette in the shade Medium to Dark. I'm going to slightly carve out my cheeks. Going back into my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder. We're going to curve out under the cheeks. And also blend out a little bit on the forehead. And I don't let this powder sit on here for long because it works pretty instantly once you do this trick. Now for blush, I'm gonna go into my Maybelline Fit Me. This one's in the shade Wine. This is really the only blush that I use, mainly because this is the only blush that I really have. But it looks really nice on my skin, I feel like. And I really don't use a lot anyway. And also, this blush has like a nice sheen to it. On the nose, of course. I always like to go back in with my fluffy brush, my big fluffy brush, to make sure everything is blended nicely. I'm gonna go back into my True Complexions palette. We're gonna go into this highlight shade. This is definitely like the best highlighter that I have. It's not super like beamy glowy, but it's just really pretty. To put some under my eyes, just because I feel like it's a little bit more seamless when you're turning your head. Instead of the highlight just starting right here, it starts like, you know, so it doesn't look like you just have a streak of highlighter on your face. My finger for my nose. I'm gonna spray my face. I like to go in with my beauty blender and just bounce it in. Just so when it dries and you have like any big droplets that might have hit your face, they don't like dry and leave like a spot. Now for the under eyes, I'm gonna go back into the Jackie Aina palette, and I'm going to go into the shade Ginger. We're gonna take this wide flat brush and go in on the under eyes. And taking a little bit of ginger on the outside. Now for the inner eye highlight, I'm gonna go into this Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighter. This one's in the shade Precious Petals on my pencil brush. Well, these are the lashes that I will be using today. I'm gonna use the ones on top because I already doubled them up. I got these from Walmart. I don't know what style these are because they don't have a name really. I'm guessing it's this name at the top. So these are the ones we're going to be using today. Okay, now while the lashes are drying, we're going to move on to the lips. Since I didn't go super like bold on the eyes, I decided to go a little bit bolder on the lips since I usually do nude. But today I'm deciding to go red. This is my Milani lipstick. This is in the shade I Am Fierce. And it's a nice bright red. And around the edges, I'm gonna use my Revlon Color Stay Lip Liner. This is in the shade Chocolate.